So we can see that our friend Jill here makes $20 per hour as a McDonald's manager. And so if we were to think about this in terms of an equation and a graph, the way that we would represent this is we would say that y is equal to 20x, meaning that for every hour that Jill works, she will earn $20. Recognize I put a 2 there instead of a 20. So y equals 20x would represent that. You should be familiar with seeing equations like this from 7th grade. And the next question is this linear function proportional? The answer is yes. And so going back to our videos, or our notes prior to this video, there is nothing being added to the end of this equation here. There is nothing like a plus 6 or something like that. And so this graph is going to pass through the origin and be a straight line. It is going to be proportional. So we can say that there is nothing being added or subtracted. At the end. The slope, or the rate of change, you would have used the word rate of change in 7th grade quite a lot probably, or the constant of proportionality. It's the same exact thing. So the slope or the rate of change is just how much it is changing by for every one. And so for every hour it is changing by $20. And then the initial value, or the y-intercept, would be this number that is being added to the end here. So in this case there is nothing being added. So we would say that the initial value, or the y-intercept, is 0. So coming over to the graph, we would start, if she works 0 hours, she makes $0. This is going to be proportional because it does pass through the origin right there at 0, 0. For 1 hour she makes 20, 2 hours 40, 3 hours 60, 4 hours 80, 5 hours 100, and 6 hours 120. So I can go ahead, and I'm always going to put an arrow on the end of my line there because it does continue forever. So this situation has an equation that is y equals 20x and a graph that looks like that. Definitely proportional. Bob's total money earned. We have the same kind of situation. Bob is making $15 per hour at Dutch Bros. So that would be y equals 15x. For every hour that he works, he makes $15. Is this linear function proportional? Yes. And I'm going to save myself time because it's the exact same reason as the other one. There is nothing being added or subtracted at the end. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it. My iPad loves to disappear. Okay, the slope or rate of change here is how much it is changing by for every hour in this case. So his amount earned is changing by $15 each hour. And then the initial value, or the y-intercept, again, there is nothing being added to the end. So that's the equivalent of plus 0. And so our initial value, or y-intercept, is 0. In the case of Bob here, he gets $0 when he works 0 hours, $15 for 1 hour, $30 for 2, $45 for 3, and $60 for 4. Okay, on to the back side. We have a bit of a different situation going on here in the back. We have Frank, who is a plumber. Frank earns $50 per hour and $100 for the initial assessment of a plumbing issue at a house. And so Frank will make $100 for doing nothing other than just showing up. And so for 0 hours of work, Frank already made $100, not $0 like the previous two examples. And so what we need to do this time is recognize that Frank is going to earn $50 for every hour, plus $100 just for showing up. Now, is this linear function proportional? The answer is no, because we do have something that is not 0 being added to the end of that equation. So the answer, nope, How do you know? Because of the plus 100 at the end. The slope or rate of change here is going to be 50 because for every hour that Frank works, he makes 50 bucks. And then the initial value or the y-intercept. The initial value or the y-intercept is where we start. In the case of Frank here, he's going to start at $100 for doing nothing. And so 0 goes with 100 here. Notice that this is not proportional because it is not going to pass through 0, 0. And then for every hour, he's going to make 50 bucks. So 50 bucks up each time. Okay. And so our graph will end up looking like that. So this is linear, but not proportional because it does not pass through 0, 0. It does not pass through 0, 0 because of the 100 being added to the end of the equation. On to Eric. Eric earns $20 per hour and an additional $10 if she needs to bring equipment for landscaping to the worksite. So we're going to assume that Eric, that they're going to need to bring their equipment. So they're going to bring the equipment, which is going to cost an initial fee of $10. And so we've got y equals 20x plus 10 as our equation. Is this function proportional? Nope. Because of the plus 10 at the end. Our slope or rate of change is how much it's changing for every hour in this case. That is $20. That's the value that's attached to the x there. And our initial value or y-intercept is going to be 10. That's the place we start at. And so in this case we are going to go 0, 10 because they make $10 for just bringing their stuff. 1 goes with 30, 2 goes with 50, 3 goes with 70, 4 with 90, 5 with 110. And so again, not proportional, but linear. It does have a constant rate of change, and it travels in a straight line, but it does not pass through the origin, so it is not proportional.